Hello, I am Blazerona. You can call me Blaze. Haven't seen the other video? That video being the Toy Story 4 video? Because this is a companion video, so watch the other one first. This isn't like my other videos, they're more structured. You're actually gonna hear me move real paper in real life, because I have real notes here, written by me. Whoa. In the meantime, sit and watch me draw. So, one fateful night, I was happened upon by a cloaked figure, and I was given a DVD case. It was the 1989 Felix the Cat film! But then I opened it and it had a blank disc and it said Toy Story 5 written on it in permanent marker. So I got to watch it for free! Whoa! Wow, I can't believe it. Fever dreams do come true. On the onset, there is spoilers in this, okay? I'm not editing it out. I'm not doing a non-spoiler review. Okay, so leave now, okay? Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Woo, 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 woo! If you know that reference, my condolences. I said Toy Story 5 would be okay at best, and to not buy a ticket. Pixar is complacent and apathetic. But I was wrong! It says it in the title. Let's go over the positives and the negatives, starting with the positives. Don't worry, there are more positives than negatives. And we're gonna rapid fire these. Okay? Positives. There are callbacks and references, and some of them feel organic, and done with respect and intention. I like the line that Jesse said of, you calling me a liar? That was pretty good. I liked Bullseye misspelling Andy's name with his hooves. That was a nice little touch. I liked stuff like that. I like the now this is flying that was done around the end of the third act. I like that as well. It was purposeful. It didn't feel like they were just bringing it up for reference sake. They were bringing it up because it was actually a continuation of the scene from Toy Story 1. It felt authentic. I complained about my suspension of disbelief and the magic circle in my Toy Story 4 video, but this genuinely feels like a part of the Toy Story universe. The comedy feels much more in the spirit of the original, even if I didn't care for all of the toilet humor from the Conan O'Brien character, Smarty Pants. So actually, Smarty Pants is way less annoying than I thought he'd be. So even though there are toilet jokes in the film, they're not offensive toilet jokes. Like they're not lowbrow. They're fine. They're well-written toilet jokes, but I'm just like not a fan of toilet humor, so it's not really a criticism, it's just something I personally feel. You know, it's funny because this is the positive section and yet I'm bringing up criticisms in this. Blaze, how dare you! Bonnie's other toys are shoved in the background, like in 4, but they handled it a lot better in 5 because at least they have a reason to not be involved, being in a freaking box and all. It's funny when they were like, when Slinky's like, oh, what do you want us to do? And Lily's like, nothing. It's just, okay, geez, you didn't have to say it out loud, champ. The technology themes, the themes about, you know, connection and all that, they didn't feel preachy. I did not expect this level of insight from Pixar on this. I didn't have expectations of how they were going to tackle it going into the film, but I do have expectations for how modern animated films in general approach the topic. And I would say Toy Story 5 exceeded these expectations, which I was not expecting that. I honestly thought it was going to be a bunch of, like, boomerisms, if that makes sense. Boomerisms, they were gonna be like, oh, kids and their iPads these days. I thought it was gonna be that, but no. The multi-buzz payoff in the third act is awesome. I really do like them. They're funny, and they're cute, and they're cool. I'd much rather them be there despite their less than stellar integration into the plot. I think the appeal of them makes up for their sloppy inclusion into the story, but, you know, again, this is supposed to be the positive section, but I don't want to go to the negative section and instantly sound like I'm contradicting myself. I'll expand upon it later. So Joan Cusack has some great lines in this. I really liked when she said, oh, guys, you missed all the fun! Like, that was a really good line read. I like the funny noises that Tom Hanks made during the scene when he was being dangled upside down in the barn with the pig. He went like, what's going on? Like, he did something like that. I can't help it. Like, it's funny, okay? And, man, Tim Allen has a lot of lines in this movie, and he does great with most of them. The whole movie, I was thinking, his acting's phenomenal. It's hard to believe he's Republican. Sorry. I'm gonna get some comments about that one. Kristen Schaal as Trixie absolutely killed it, despite having, like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 lines. Seriously, just, oh, I'm only gonna get 30 seconds of screen time? Better milk it for all it's worth. Wow. Greta Lee as Lily was great. They could have easily just casted a regular old white woman, but they didn't. They actually picked somebody who fit the role. And also somebody who has done voice work before. I believe, gosh, I forgot what character right now. It's not coming to me, but she's a character in Spider-Verse. It was Lila, in the first and second Spider-Verse. Wow, 3 years in and you're already typecasted. That's rough, buddy. Typecasted as a freaking robot. Something I definitely was not expecting. It was probably in the trailers. I just didn't see it, but Shelby Rabara is Snappy in this film, and like I heard the voice and I was like, is that Peridot? How do you get from a Cartoon Network show and skyrocket to Pixar's flagship franchise? Like, good for her. Speaking of woke, I joked about Toy Story 5 being racist and homophobic and transphobic. I obviously was not being serious with that. But we finally have a notable black character in one of the straightest, whitest animated franchises ever, other than Combat Carl. So, Blaze is a huge win. She's great. I'm so glad she's here. And, you know, Snappy's voice actor is from the Gay Rock Show, and Jessie wears the bow tie, and Buzz the dress. Oh, sorry, it's a kilt. And, you know, Combat Carl even wears a tutu, and there's no jokes made about it. And I'm not saying this like thinking, oh, they were trying to be woke, but, you know, I noticed the little things. If Toy Story 5 has proven me wrong in that way too, even disproving my joke, I might as well point it out. The art direction is solid, and animation-wise, the simulations in particular stood out to me. Merida, we have a new curly-haired Pixar queen, because holy shit, Blaze's hair looks really, really good. Wow. Look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. Wow. And Smarty Pants' facial animations carry his entire design. Like, his face is like 70% of his design, and it's a perfect mix of 2D and 3D. And I'm gonna be real, Conan isn't a good enough voice actor to live up to the character he was given. Like, wow, it's almost like he's not a voice actor, but hey, I mean, that's a huge compliment to the visual designers. Man, Smarty Pants in general just really exceeded my expectations. The cinematography is great, and the storyboarding excelled. Remember in the big low point in the second act scene when Bonnie walks away, and her walking away is being match faded with Emily's car driving off? Really good shit. Also, I remember the scene where the Buzz Lightyears, the multi-Buzz, and Woody are hanging off of the stairs. That entire shot of like following the feet of the dad character going down the stairs, and then the big reveal of that, like all the Buzz Lightyears were hanging from the stairs. That's amazing. That's really, really, really good. And obviously, best for last, Jessie. Jessie is so well done. She makes a great main character, and she deserved all of the focus that she got. I honestly wish she got more. Her journey is cathartic, and it's perfect for a story about connection. Now actually I want to go and I'm going to read the entire section for Jessie, honestly. Jessie hasn't truly healed from Emily. It's a loose thread from the trilogy. This alone justified Toy Story 5 existing. I was very clear about Toy Story 3 being the last one, and I still stand by that. But if there was ever going to be a continuation, this was the best route they could have taken. Jessie is back in the house where the canon event happened. There's another Spider-Verse reference for you. The slow drifting away that led to abandonment. Thanks to tech, Bonnie drifting away from toys has been accelerated. You remember that line when Jessie says that tech makes kids grow up too fast? It's causing her to relive that pain much sooner than she otherwise would have. So she becomes tech racist and takes her anger out on them, because anger is a much more comfortable emotion than the crushing loneliness she's way too familiar with. That line, "I can't do this again," fits her like a glove. What is it she would say in Toy Story 4 when that fear kicked in? "I can't do storage again, I just can't." Every time she's in an enclosed space, it's like she's back in that donation box with all the horrible memories that come with it. She overcame her claustrophobia by learning Jessie never gives up. Jessie finds a way. She had to step up and save Woody because she was the only one who could, but those painful memories are still there. That ghost hasn't gone anywhere. Jessie overcame her claustrophobia by learning she's strong enough. Jessie healed from her trauma by learning that she did matter to Emily. It's why she wanted to make a difference, needed to make a difference with Bonnie so badly. Of course, after being abandoned, you're going to wonder if you ever mattered in the first place, but she did, and she does. We came for you, Jessie. We all did. Oh, man. Seriously, just thinking about it, it's... wow. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Jessie was, like, on the tier list of, like, main characters for Toy Story. It was always, the first one was always Woody, the second one was Buzz, and Jessie is number 3. But now I'm not so sure. Now, like, Jessie and Buzz are, like, tied for second place. I'm sorry for the male favoritism, but Woody will always be my favorite just because, like, you know, nostalgia. I'm not saying he's better, I'm just saying he's my favorite. It's just, you know, whatever. And I never thought I would say I would thank Toy Story 5 for having me appreciate Jessie as a character more. Huge, huge props for her, just in general. I really want to emphasize how much good I find in this film and just how much it meant to me before I get into the negatives. That way you know I'm not just shitting on the movie for no reason, okay? Albeit, I'm not going to be shitting on it. I think my criticisms are somewhat reasonable, but you can determine for yourself. On to the negatives. The scoring feels unique. It feels just familiar enough. And the choice, I think it was a last-minute choice actually, to put a male choir into the scenes for the multi-buzz, that was a stroke of genius. I'm so glad they did that. However, there are some parts of the score that felt a little heavy-handed. The scene where where Jessie talks to Lily for the first time on the bed, and she's like, "Oh, okay, let's wrestle over it," and then she jumps on her and starts pounding her little plastic fists into her screen. It plays like this heroic-sounding music, and I'm like, that doesn't really fit the tone of the scene. Same thing with the scene before the whole, like, Emily lunchbox reveal, whatever. When Bullseye catches up to Jessie, they play this overly triumphant music when he shows up, and I really did not think it was necessary. It creates a weird tonal dissonance in the middle of what's supposed to be like a emotional and sad scene. The score is good and it stands on its own, but it's not flawless. That's all. The plot of Toy Story 5 is really busy with a lot of elements that have very little overlap. Like, other than Smarty being introduced, what was the point of the scene in the playhouse with the tea party or whatever? Like, we never get to see those characters ever again. And a lot of scenes feel like that, where there's not really a lot connecting it. I described it to myself like a bento box, how everything is in its own little compartment, and you know, maybe there's some crossover every now and then, but for the most part, it's just one little thing at a time. It didn't really feel like it was all meshed together. The Jessie and Woody walkie-talkie scene, the exposition done there is not... Pixar does this thing. They did it in Onward, where there's an opening narration talking about how fantasy, like, slowly turned into modernity over time. And then, 20 minutes into the film, there's a character who rereads that opening narration in the form of a letter. It's the same thing, and oddly enough, it happens at the exact same time. That there's an opening scene that exposits about Emily and Jessie, And then there's a scene 20 minutes in the movie where a character has to re-exposit to a character who Woody literally says that, like, oh, of course I remember about Emily, but then she just proceeds to explain it anyway, as if he didn't say anything at all. They didn't explain the abandonment part in the flashback at the beginning of Toy Story 5. Like, okay, then just put that part in the beginning. Like, my point is, choose one or the other, don't do both. I personally would have just gone with the flashback scene and just have that explain everything and don't have this little walkie-talkie scene. That walkie-talkie scene serves more than one purpose, and I guess I'll get into that a little bit later. I said some of the reference writing was authentic, and I did appreciate it when they used it with intention, but some of it was kind of annoying. The Bambi part with the multi-buses annoyed me. I was like, oh, okay, wow, tongue-in-cheek, like, aren't we so self-referential Disney shit? Like, it didn't piss me off or anything, but I was just like, oh, we're doing this again? Okay. Some of y'all are probably not Sonic fans, so I'll explain it a little bit. There's this writer in the Sonic franchise. His name is Ian Flynn, and he's infamous for putting in, like, he kind of takes notable scenes from the franchise or like notable quotes or memes or something, he slightly rewords them and then puts them into new scenes, just kind of like a to the other Sonic fans that are like, oh, you know what I'm referencing? And honest to God, the scene of Woody and Buzz reuniting and reenacting the first time they met in Toy Story 1, cringe. I would have felt a little bit more accepting of it if Buzz just kind of dropped the act and like laughed like, I was just kidding, cowboy. And I feel like Woody laughing at the end of that, I feel like it was the intention that it was supposed to be them just fucking around, but the scene is so fast-paced that they just don't do that. The thing is, it doesn't make sense in the context of the scene, including all of the like Star Wars references. This is something I don't like about Toy Story 2 either, is that they'll just put in little Star Wars references like, oh, it turns out Zurg is actually our father. It's like, okay, what does that have to do with the scene, my guy? Again, it's not like awful writing, it's just a little annoying. Speaking of the pacing, because I mentioned the pacing with the Buzz and Woody scene, the pacing in general in this film is way too damn fast. There are times where they should have paused and like stayed in the moment. There were jokes that were completely ruined because of the pacing, and it's just, they were obviously juggling a little bit too much in this movie. They weren't doing an awful job juggling it, but it felt like a lot. I guess reference back to my bento box thing that I just said. The suspension of disbelief is pretty good for everything except the multi-buzz thing. For some reason, they feel the need to explain the whole, oh, we freeze in front of humans instinctually. It's just, okay. I remember I said in my Toy Story 4 video that if you're gonna challenge a fundamental concept of your fictional universe, then you probably should explain it. They didn't challenge the concept of freezing in front of humans. They just decided to explain it. I feel like there was a better way of doing it because it sort of contradicts the trilogy, especially Toy Story 1. I ascribe to the whole Buzz Lightyear thinks that it is the culture of the room to freeze in front of humans. More on the point of the magic circle. What constitutes a toy was a big topic in my video, and this movie, has decided to make a compromise. Lily is a tablet that is designed by humans to be played with by kids. So we could say the general rule for toy sentience in this world is, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, waddles like a duck, it comes to life. And is probably voiced by a 70-year-old white guy. Fair enough, fine. It's not airtight, and some things like Forky still don't make any sense, but that wasn't Toy Story 5's problem to fix, so it's fine. I'm just glad Bonnie was wearing headphones and playing on her lily pad while Buzz and Woody spoke under her bed. Like, oh, wow, they're getting better, wow. Okay, like, I know that sounds sarcastic, but seriously, they do so much better this time around. They did what they could with the cards they were dealt, and a lot of those crappy cards came from Toy Story 4, whatever. I like Lilypad, but she's a little bit too much like Anxiety from Inside Out 2. I know that's not an original criticism, but it is a criticism nonetheless. And Woody has no place in this film. And keep in mind, Woody is my favorite Toy Story character, and even I'm like, dude, what is he doing here? Remember I talked about the walkie-talkie scene, how there was more than one purpose to it? Well, another purpose for it was to set up Woody and Buzz's bickering over, like, you know, no, Mom said it was my turn with the deputy badge. It's kind of boring. They could have done something else with it. If Woody did have to be in this film, they could have done something else. I'll commend them for using the walkie-talkie scene for more than one purpose, but the purpose is bringing Woody into a film where he just doesn't really belong. So to what end? Good writing, but to what end? Speaking more on Buzz, I wish we got to expand upon Buzz's feelings about Jessie. We know he cares about Jessie and wants to marry her, but I feel like they made that the only goal, but they don't really like use that as an opportunity to expand on Buzz as a character. There are people who complain about Buzz stagnating after Toy Story 1, but nah man, he's more than just like, oh, we're doing the Space Ranger thing again. Develop his romance a little bit more with Jessie, make it a bit more fleshed out. Speaking of the multi-Buzz thing, I do love them, I really, really do, but they do not get much relevance until the end. Think of it like this. If a Deus Ex Machina is introduced at the beginning of a movie, and they do literally nothing until their Deus Ex Machina moment, does that suddenly make them a Chekhov's gun? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but to me it felt like a Deus Ex Machina with like 1 to 2 days of shipping before it actually got there. I kind of feel bad about this one because it's nobody's fault, but Joan Cusack can't really do Jessie anymore, and she does have great line reads in this film, don't get me wrong, but they had to James Earl Jones some of her lines, and by that I mean they had to reuse old takes from the trilogy. If you don't believe me, listen to the yee-haw when she is on the horse for the first time. It is the same exact yee-haw from Toy Story 2. That's not her fault, like, voices change, people age over time, but it did kind of pull me out of the film. There were some line reads that I feel like suffered because she just could not put the energy into the character like she used to. I feel bad for saying it, but I didn't want to just ignore it. Now, it's not just her. Tom's acting is good as well, but, you know, his age is showing. His voice gets gravelier by the year. The only other complaint I have with the voice acting is Jeff Bergman as Mr. Potato Head. Jeff Bergman's a really good voice actor, and I actually mentioned him in my Chip and Dale video. I don't know, man. This will take a little bit of time to explain. So there's this thing in the 3-act structure where the stakes are established in the first act, but there will be new higher stakes during the low point in the second act. This is to transition into the rising action, that is the third act. And I believe it's in the transition between the second and third act that's the problem with Toy Story 5. So the stakes established in the first act is to get Jessie home so she can help Bonnie make friends. The low point in the second act is when Bonnie doesn't take Jessie and Bullseye home with her. Now during that scene on the front porch with Bonnie, Blades, their parents, Jessie, Bullseye, Woody, and Buzz, this would be the time to establish the new and higher stakes. After all, the original stakes have been resolved. They can't bring Jessie home because Bonnie doesn't want her there. We need new stakes for the rising action that will be the climax. The issue is, when Buzz and Woody meet the multi-Buzzes, the goal hasn't changed. They're going into the house to rescue Jessie, but she isn't there. We know where she's going. To the trauma tree. But Buzz and Woody don't know that. Smarty Pants, Snappy, and Atlas does. They have to spend a lot of time getting into that house and getting on the same page with each other. Meanwhile, we have the entire scene with Bonnie and her mom, then Lilypad throws herself away, and Jessie has her entire Emily lunchbox scene. Then at the end of the Jessie lunchbox scene, she meets up with Smarty Pants, Atlas, and Snappy, and only then do they find out that they need to go find Lilypad. All that put together makes for a long low point in the second act. This is what happens when not enough characters share the same scene, by the way. You have to do the low point in the second act 3 times. It ruins the building of tension. Buzz and Woody meeting the multi-Buzz needed to be changed. Make them kidnap Woody, Smarty Pants, Atlas, and Snappy, thinking they're agents of Zurg. That way we can, shorten the house infiltration part. It's not really that it has a weak third act, it's that going into the third act is too slow. This last thing is not a criticism, only I care about this. Where's the mentally scarring imagery? Even Toy Story 4 had it. I wish they did something with Lily's "I'm always listening" line. Like, make Toy Story Black Mirror. I need my Toy Story nightmares. And that's it. That is my positives as my negatives now. Throw them all in the trash. Who cares? Literally, who cares? Who cares? This is what I actually care about. I was wrong. Not just about Toy Story 5, but about how I've been approaching the thesis of my videos so far. Is it useful to complain about Pixar, or the animation industry, or the economy in general? I said in my Chip and Dale video, like, there's this quote. So, when the jokes aren't meta, what do they have to say about what's happening in the movie? Let's generalize that more. Without meta knowledge, what is the movie saying? Discussions of real-world elements matter, but there's a time and a place for it. These systems I'm so critical of are too big to change overnight, and I can act like pointing this stuff out somehow makes me smarter than everyone else in the room, but it doesn't. Being correct about the shitty things in the world isn't the point. I watched 5 whole seasons of Rick and Morty and somehow I didn't absorb that. Think of it like this. I can talk about how Justin Roiland is a shitty person, but what does that have to do with what I just said? Nothing. Pixar has a bad marketing team. They're making unnecessary sequels. They feel entitled to your money. Okay, what can we do about that? Not get a ticket and watch a few indie shows instead? Yeah, it's not that simple. Ticket sales are drops in the bucket compared to the ocean that is their net worth. I am raging against the machine with a play school screwdriver. Remember when I said, I love taking my demons out on terrible movies? It must have been a Freudian slip, because that's all the capitalism complaining is. I am doing media analysis. I gotta get my head out of the metatextual ass and back into the textual one. What is the Toy Story 5 we got? It is a good film, and I'll happily watch it again. Is it as good as the trilogy? In my opinion, no, but that's not a bad thing. It told a good story. It made me laugh. It made me emotional. It kept me invested. I have here, I'll even scroll through it. I have pages and pages, 16 pages of notes that I could have bored you with. But what's the point? In my Toy Story 4 video, I mentioned Gaming Magic 13's monolith of a video essay. Well, he made a follow-up video. Some of you might even be here because he shouted out my channel. By the way, Magic, if you're watching this, may your pillows always be cold. May your cereal never get soggy. And I hope every edge of every corner of every table fears your feet. He did more for me in that video than just shout out my channel. He recounted the journey of how he came to make that series in the first place. He said making it had him watching and appreciating the trilogy more than he ever had before. That's why we do it. I love art and storytelling so much that experiencing it isn't enough. Only through media analysis can I really appreciate all the things I love about it. Listen, life in the roaring 20s sucks. It's not gonna stop sucking just cause a Henry Stickmin lookalike is mad about it. I'll talk about the economy and the industry stuff if it's interesting or relevant, but making it the thesis is depressing. I'm making a new life rule for myself, right now, in front of all of you strangers to hold myself accountable. If you can't control it, let it go. Things are changing, and we don't get to decide when or how that happens. See, I fucking fooled you. I said that this video didn't have any structure or thesis to it. I lied to all of you. I wrote so many notes for this video. I took so much time to make it. You've been bamboozled, motherfucker. So yeah, I was wrong. And thank God I was. Because nobody likes unproductive negativity. I'm here for the love of the game, baby. This is the end of the Toy Story 5 section. If you would like to leave, you can leave. Go ahead. You're fine. You have my permission. Bye. I hope you have a good day. This is the part that's in the parentheses, the channel update part. My next video is going to take a while. Why, you ask? And that's why you're my favorite viewer. I'm being real with you guys. I'm not joking here. I have a disability, and it gives me chronic pain and wrecks my energy levels. On top of that, I have a full-time job. I can't make videos at the same pace everyone else can. This is just a fact you have to accept if you're gonna subscribe to my channel. But that's not the main reason my next video is gonna take a bit. I am in the middle of moving. I have to put all of my focus into doing that for now. This is a pause, not a goodbye. I don't know when I'll be able to put out my next video. I'm hoping I could get something out by the end of this year despite this, but we'll have to see. I'll let you guys know through a post or an update video on how that's going. I hate that I have to do this because I want to keep this YouTube thing going. I know every YouTuber says this at some point, but really, I mean it when I say I love making videos. I've been trying to find the right format for a long time. It's the perfect storm of all the skills I have. Art, writing, media analysis, video editing, graphic design, voice acting, animation, comedy, and I'm pretty good at explaining things to people. Too bad my audio setup still sucks, but hey, that's gonna change when I move, wow! It's so nice to be able to babble about things I'm interested in and having a place where people choose to come and talk about it. It scratches an itch that nothing else quite does. If you sat through this whole video, you probably have a good impression of the kind of person I am. I'm vulgar, I'm blunt, and I have to make a joke every 2 minutes or I'll explode. I am so fucking weird, and I thought no one would give a shit about what I made. I expected my Chip and Dale video to get maybe 300 views at most. Boy, was I wrong. People started calling me charismatic and funny, and some people say my videos are high quality, which is not something I expected when the videos are literally just a stick figure on a white background with the occasional clip and image. Okay. Additionally, I got some criticisms about my observations, my sources, the too long intro, and the visuals of my videos. Thank you for all of it, the compliments and the critiques. They're both equally valuable to me. With that said, even though it'll be a while until my next video, I'm going to implement some changes to the format. Not big ones. Here's an example. Someone said my videos are too white. I'm sorry, I'm white. It's the way I was born. Okay, seriously, I'll do something to make the background a bit easier on the eyes. And for the record, I do not use generative AI in any of my videos. I hope the Speedpaint is at least proof that I can actually draw. I really love the process of creating, and AI takes that away from me, so fuck it. Also, I hate it. I want my stuff to be informative, engaging, and funny. I hope I've hit those marks so far, but I'm always willing to improve, and hey, maybe I'll get experimental. I'm actually really good at playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I was thinking of making a narrative-style video of a challenge run. It's not on brand for my channel, but what I have planned for it is badass. I was even thinking about making a video where I read one of my terrible Sonic fanfictions from when I was 13. I might do those ideas, I might not. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a better idea. I got aspirations for this channel. I'm glad there are so many people here to see what I have next. I'm excited, and I hope you are too. It'll be a wait, but when I come back, I'll be better than ever. I'm going to the milk store, but I'm coming back, I promise. Okay, that's it. See you at some point in the future. Also, here's the final drawing if you want to look at it. All right, stay frosty, friends. Bye.